We got a lot to talk about. Leave me alone, man. Okay? Too much. Mm, mm, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm. Well, this is gonna be a goodie. Get yourself situated. So far, if you have any questions, about everything I said so far, write it down for yourself, or feel free to put it on, under the comment. Good. Hmm. You're not on trial. You're not being judged on this side. You hear me? So, mm-hmm. Mm. Bam. Because here's something else. So we were talking about how powerful those words are. Now, most importantly, I think I was talking about the shortcuts, if there's any. Because now at this point, it gives you the understanding that I mean, you're still gonna have to go through the fucking experience, but at least you're not gonna go through it blindly. And that's what they do because everybody's experiences is always gonna be different, bro. This is why what works for me is definitely not gonna work for you. And the idea here, by me helping you to attain again, your highest level of understanding, by reflecting, or the Buddhists call it the using the mirror of wisdom. Here's something else too. Like, just to hear that in itself, for me, gives me a hard on, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. That alone hits me a certain way. You know what I'm saying? The mirror of wisdom. you know. But see, the thing is, I also hold the mirror of conscience as well. Right? That's why we keep it fair. But anyway, let's get started. Anyway. So, in terms of the knowledge that you can actually retain from those statements, and that would gives you help you to have or to expand on your insight. It gives you a broader perspective, and this is why you need to have experience. You learn from other people's experiences. You know what I'm saying? But again, your path is going to have to be your path. If there's a trailblazer in front of you, if you're going in that path, that's not your path, bro. Because your path is, man, like that's what I realized. You know what I'm saying? Like, although I've read so many different books, learned so many different masters, it's like at the end of the day, you get to learn everybody's path, what they had to deal with, but ultimately the overall experience really comes down to you attaining that highest level of understanding about who you are. And on that level, this is what when we're talking about the selflessness of oneself. That's it, right then and there. But anyway, hey, I tend to get deep at times. Yeah. If you haven't noticed that. But anyway, so when I'm talking about the power of words, so it's not the meaning of a word to me. It's what you hear, how certain things are being put together. That's what you see in poetry. Poetry in itself, it's an art. It's an art of speech, man. This is why us great, let you say, as a spiritual healer, obviously, I mean, I have to use words. So I gotta be nice. This is my preference. I mean, this is my business. You see what I'm saying? So in so many words, I'm also telling on myself. But what you need to know is that, hey man, you know what I'm saying? Get out of here. You just need to learn, nigga. You know what I'm saying? It's this is why. Listen, you could be a scientist. In fact, the nigga, what's that nigga name? I think I talked about him in the past. Neo some shit. Black a nigga like the astrologer. I think he's an astronomist. if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, I mean, there is a difference. So he may be both. Who knows? But I'm saying all of that to say, brilliant guy, but also has a personality. Like when you listen to the guys like fucking Obama and all this shit, those niggas are nice with words. Great allocutors, great speakers, you know what I'm saying? And anybody who's doing this work, including Jesus, I mean, this is what we do because we deal with the words, man. So for me, in the name of all of my ancestors, I mean, I gotta talk to you a certain way. So that certain way in itself, this is where the power of words is. So it's not a meaning of a word that makes word powerful, but it's how those words are being put together. And then now, the way they're being put together, just like if I were to tell you what's understood doesn't have to be explained, that means when you get it, you get it. There's nothing that I will add to it for you to get it a little bit better, or there's nothing I can take away from what I'm saying for you to not to get it, or to get it less, if for you not to get it. Because when you get it, you get it. And this is what's understood, doesn't have to be explained, babe. If you know, you know. If you know, you know. So I'm saying that to say, you see, in those words and the way those words are being used and said, man, there's a lot that's being said here without verbally having to explain them. Now, that's what I call power of words. That's what you see in poetry. That's what you will get in lyricism, rap music, and all that shit, or the art of lyricism in itself. And a lot of speakers, including fucking comedians or whomever, they use different tactics. It could be rhyme and reason, word associations. It's easy for people to remember, but also they say things that, you know what I'm saying? Listen, man, listen, any wise ones, they will get what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? This is for the wise ones. But at the same time, because I don't want to say too much on me though. Actually, but I guess there's no way around it. And it is what it is. But this is also to let you know this is how truthful this is. And this is what I vow to give you at all times. I promise, what I'm saying? I'm doing this shit publicly to give you the best of me. Listen, you ain't getting no less than me. But anyway, I'm talking some shit. But now, this is how powerful. That's the power word to me. The way certain things are being said, the way, not just that, when you hear certain quotes, they automatically demand your fucking attention. Do you see what I'm saying? And again, those are what I call the good word to me. And then you get to witness how those words are acting out on you. I know for me, like, even when I remember when I was studying and learning about the mirror of wisdom, just by me hearing that, I'm like, what's going on here? Like, I'm ready, baby. Okay, give it to me. So, I mean, it's the joy that I have for wisdom too, and it's not a coincidence I started in philosophy. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, again, man, like, you couldn't tell me nothing. I came in here, I hit the floor, I started running. I'm like, come on, man, I gotta fulfill myself, man. Then I started asking questions very early on, and then, whatever the fuck. But I'm saying all of that to say, man, that's how powerful words are. And that's what you get to notice when in poetry. You know what I'm saying? And even the ability, and here's something else that poetry does too, that's fucking incredible. Like when they're using nature, they have a certain way of bringing life into nature. Just like a nigga would tell you, I was in my bed and the sun woke me up. The way this motherfucker saying like I mean, did the sun hit you? Was the sun talking to you? No. But what they're bringing to your attention is that there is an interaction that took place with the sun. We tend to, ah, man, if you're doing this, why are you doing this for? But also, this is also trying to get you to acknowledge the connection between you and the sun. Because a lot of us, we're just living our lives and not being, and this is what being conscious is too. This is why, the true spiritual ones, we worship nature, for lack of better terms. It's not nature as in nature that we are worshiping in itself, but it's the energy, what nature represents. This is why nature is God and God is nature. I mean, God is everything else. But, for this specific point, because the wisdom that nature teaches you, listen, if you plant mango, you're not going to get avocado. If you wishing bad shit for other people, that's always what's going to happen to you. What you're projecting, that's what you project. Well, that's what you're going to get. You know? Like, have you ever seen someone who wants bad for other people prosper? That's what they call your haters. Have you ever seen any haters prosper, bro? And even if they were to have money, you still wouldn't look up to them. You see what I'm saying? And this is why when people, let's just say, can you imagine? You know what I'm saying? And I'm saying this, okay, let's just talk about the Diddy shit. Can you imagine? Like you wanted the cars, you wanted this, you wanted that.